You know, I don't think I went into enough detail about why Avatar: The Last Airbender, the 2010 film, doesn't work. And as somebody who's a big fan of the show, loves the show, have the complete series on Blu-ray. Here's the reason why that movie is absolutely horrible, especially if you are a fan of the show. First of all, his name is Ong in the movie, but it's pronounced Aang. But okay, fine. That's one little misstep. And here's the interesting thing about it. The show, not the movie, the movie does do a decent job at least being accurate in what has happened in the cartoon series and then placing it into the film. It does tell stories that have been a part of the cartoon. The only problem, though, with that is, where do I even start? Is that the acting is just so flat and wooden, and each character is just written so terribly, and is nothing like their original counterparts. Aang is not this lovable, just caring pacifist who simply wants to just have fun, but at the same time knows when to be serious. He's serious all the time. Katara and Sokka, where do I even begin? Especially with Sokka. Sokka, yeah, remember him? A guy that, as much as he was a hothead, as much as he was annoying, he was overall likable and cared about other people and had great chemistry with his girlfriend Suki from the Kyoshi Warriors, and cared about people. Yeah, he doesn't really do that. He's pretty much a jerk all the time. Just like, remember that episode from the first season where Sokka was just a complete jerk? That's pretty much exactly what he is in this entire film. He's pretty much what he was in season 1, at least in that first episode, until he actually started becoming friends with Aang, which was immediately not too long after the second episode. Or after the first episode. And there was drama. There was a great mixture between characters. Also, and even with some of the ways that the movie is accurate to the cartoon. Why is Hama all of a sudden talked about in just that 1 minute? Because she's not in this movie, and Hama wasn't even introduced until I forgot which season, but around like the later season. And if you don't know, Hama was the one, spoilers guys, Hama was the one who helped Katara learn to do bloodbending, which is basically, if you don't know, it's the antithesis of the Force. You know, just like with how Darth Vader takes his hands, except of course use both hands, and just basically control the other's body like a puppet. And she just gets that one mention, and that's it. Fire Lord Ozai, played amazingly by Mark Hamill in the cartoon, is now replaced and just doesn't give you any sort of vibe from how he looks, to how he talks, to how he acts. He has nothing that truly makes you think, oh yeah, that's Fire Lord Ozai. That guy's Fire Lord Ozai right there. You know, the same guy who burned his own son's face. The same guy who said that he wanted to rule and become the Phoenix King. The same guy. And again, I know I'm going into spoilers, but sorry. The same guy who, even with all the people that he had killed, even with all the people that he had their lives ruined, including even his own men, would be defeated in the most peaceful way possible. And that was having his firebending powers taken away from him. He was never, whereas everybody else wanted him to be taken care of in the worst way possible. In the most violent, most gruesome way possible, and Aang didn't do that. He simply took away his firebending, and now he can never do that again. How do you get such a thought-provoking cartoon like Avatar: The Last Airbender and then turn it into this movie where many characters do appear that were a part of the show? Paku does make an appearance. And there are, again, quite a few references that if you remember the show, you will say, oh yeah, I remember that scene. I remember that from the show. But yet, it doesn't have that same sort of drama or that same sort of just creativity to it. It's just saying, hey, remember that from the show? Yeah, here it is. Hey, remember when, there, again, it just, and then it even has the nerve to actually give us a cliffhanger with featuring Azula. Again, another excellent character from the show that had many layers to her and was one of the best villains in the cartoon. And second to her father, Fire Lord Ozai. And what do they do with her? They and the fact that they even put her in this movie and they made a cliffhanger out of it as if people really wanted to see a sequel, even though if you don't like if you are not even somebody who even knows about the cartoon, didn't grow up watching the cartoon, you're still not going to like this movie because it's just so boring and dull. And again, just takes everything it possibly can that made the series so great, and it ruins it. Or just throws it there just for it to be a reference, just for us fanboys to go, yeah, I remember that. It's not a good movie. I don't know what else to say. Maybe one day I will make an actual in-depth review of it. Well, like a more, possibly even do a letterbox one. But this movie is not it. This movie is absolute horribleness. It's not for anyone. And it's especially not for the fans of the show.